My name is Dan Lebsack. I'm the Chief Engineer at Dandly. I'd like to take some time today to talk to you a little bit about process safety, HSE, and operating management systems. But first, I'll give you a bit of background about myself. I'm a metallurgical engineer by degree. I've got over 40 years experience in the oil field, chemical plants, and in refining. 40 years professional engineer in the province of Alberta in Canada. Over 20 years in professional engineer in the state of Texas. And I've worked in several countries, including the US and Canada, obviously, as well as most European oil and gas producers. I have a lot of experience in upstream production, refining, chemical plant experience, and I concentrated on management systems, management system development, and management system implementation during that time. I developed process safety and HSE management systems and integrated into the overall management system for two major companies. I'm driven to succeed, to protect lives, improve the environment, and to help companies succeed. And the key being, we want everyone to go home as safe and in the same condition as when they came to work. So with that, I'd like to start with HSE. So HSE starts at the top. And what I mean by that is the senior executives or the board of directors, depending on your company, are the people that start this process. It may not be the current board or the current executives, but somebody at some point in the system, in history, has put this system in place. We need leaders to set the direction and develop these systems to monitor. We need to have that overarching guiding principles on what the company is expecting of employees and in middle leadership. Okay, the leadership pyramid is what we use to provide that guidance to the next level down. So in my experience, what we put together is one-pagers that'll describe the principles for HSE. And then that would go down to the next level that would describe the practices. And then the next level down would work on whatever the procedures are. Depending on the size of the company, that may be multiple levels. It may be one or two levels, depending, again, on the size of the company and the complexity. But those that are in this meeting likely are going to have multiple levels that would be involved in setting this direction. The key being is that each level flows seamlessly to the next level, up and down. So anything that's written at the lowest level, an area level procedure, would be in alignment with any of the above, whether it's regional, national, international, board level documents. They can't be in disagreement unless there is a legal requirement in the jurisdiction. I provide also executive and board of director level independent review to identify gaps and opportunities for improvement. And what that means is a lot of boards and executives rely on the staff, and they're great staff, but they have a lot of work to do, and it's difficult to do independent oversight and reviews. And I provide that service where I would come in, review the systems that are in place, review the implementation programs, review the staff knowledge, and we would work together with everyone to understand where the gaps were or areas of opportunity where things could be improved, made better. And in my experience, when I've done this in the past, we've gone into areas and we've worked with people so that the staff understands what's important to executives and the leadership and how things should be done consistently amongst different organizations and amongst different areas. That way, you're not trying to aggregate data at the very top that means nothing. What are the areas that are either under implemented or are missing? And we do this to ensure that all the bases are covered. It gives the executives that feeling that we have, completed what the regulations have required, what the company has required, and that we're not missing something. So all the great staff in the world can do their best jobs, but they deal with it day in and day out, and they know what they think and they know what they mean, but that may not be what they have. And as a follow-up to that, some of the questions we ask, are the systems present that are needed to do these HSE guidelines? Do they cover the needs adequately? So whether it's offshore, onshore, chemical plant, refinery, gas plant, does it cover adequately what you need to have done? Does the staff know that these guidelines exist? One of the key areas that I've found over time is that a lot of great things exist. In fact, oftentimes too many things, and the staff doesn't know they're there. They don't know where to look for them. They don't know how to find them. Okay. Does the line leadership own the results? And by that, I mean, do the operational supervisors understand that it's their responsibility for safety, right? Process safety and personal safety. Does everyone know that that's their own responsibility individually, but the line leadership owns that? Are the tools that are used easily navigated, and does everyone use them? Again, another area that is very difficult to complete, easy to say, difficult to do, but we can implement tools that will help them being the staff, understand where these are and how to use them. Is there a compelling message from the executives to be safe and to follow these rules? Again, you can have all the rules in the world, you can have all the documents in the world, but if there's not a compelling reason for them to use them, they won't. Okay. So the next section I'd like to talk about is process safety management. It's important, it's everywhere, but it's one of the most underutilized and under-implemented areas. So it really is engineering and operations safety. Another way to say that is major accident prevention. It can be a company killer, and I'm just going to mention one, for example, Union. And others as well, many smaller ones, but those are just two majors. So the simple principle to process safety is, you follow the, whether they're ISO or whether they're OSHA in the US or other countries, the Seveso principles, etc. But they're very complex to implement because they require everyone to work together. And that's one of the beauty items about this is when we do this, everyone works together, whether it's supply chain, engineering, operations, maintenance, management, etc. Everyone needs to work together to do this. Oftentimes it's seen as time-consuming and costly. I would argue that it is efficient and cost savings and improves operational excellence. It governs things like management of change and causes staff to stop and think, not just react. So for example, incidents like Flixborough in the UK, Piper Alpha in offshore Scotland, all major incidents that have occurred. There's many others where people reacted to what was going on, often operationally, rather than stopping and thinking what's going to happen. Okay. All staff, no matter what regime, regulatory regime you're in, all staff need to be informed of the dangers, and also the contractors. So that's an area that was a particular incident in the US was caused when contractors went to go do work and they were not aware of all the requirements. And, it wound up killing several contractors, damaging the plant, etc. So in the US, we have OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, 1910.119. There's ISO 45001. There's ISO 31000 on risk management. There's the IEC 61511 on functional safety. These are just to name a few of the process safety regulations that are out there. I don't want to go too deep into this. We can go further at another time. So I'd like to finish up by talking a little bit about management systems. Management systems, again, are one of those things that's really easy to say, really hard to do. They should be integrated into every system, including all the functional areas like safety, health, environment, process safety, legal, supply chain, etc. Some of the companies that I've worked with and for over the years have done that, and it's a very easy system to say, hard to do again. The system should be clearly written and widely used by staff. Use simple language. Be very clear and direct. The system should be frequently reviewed and updated as necessary, not rigid. It needs to be a living document, modified with time and to reflect current issues and conditions. Again, the management system is just that. It is, when in doubt, this is what you go read. This is how you go do your job and how you can operate your company and how leadership and executives can understand what their staff is supposed to be doing and use that as a model against what they are doing. Happy that we had the opportunity to have a few minutes today, and be more than willing to talk to you further in the future. Thank you.